Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. These games are all brand new in the beginning of November 1982. And we were last on our IBM PC playing Datnoids. That's pretty obscure, but it's not obscure for what we see tonight. Let's see what our next release is. We're next going to the arcade to play Dazzler. I have no idea what Dazzler is. Let's see what this one's all about. A brand new arcade game. Here's the advertisement flyer for Dazzler. It's what something is looking for. It's what the monkey craves. Another ape. We got more apes. It's what must deliver through wild. It's a winner. It's Dazzler. Of course, every advertisement flyer we see is trying to get you to buy these games so that you make the most profits in your arcade. This is the 474th arcade game that we've showcased here on Chronologically Gaming. Looks like we just need an 8-way joystick to fire, and there's our arcade marquee for Dazzler. Well, it looks the part. It looks like a nice arcade cabinet. Very well done. There's an example of the screenshot. And that's it. Let's go to the arcade and play Dazzler. This one's done by Century Electronics in the beginning of November 1982. The 7th game we've seen by Century Electronics. All of them have been in the arcade. Featuring O, our hero, and EV, the evil vultures. Please feed me bananas and I'll show you what to do with the vultures. So the vultures have captured a monkey and they're going through the attract mode right now. It's saying how we can delay the vultures by dropping a snake down. What in the world? Oh, so we have to find a key, unlock the box, get bananas, bring the banana to the monkey. I don't know why he's going the other way, but this already is getting a little more complicated than arcade games are supposed to be. Oh, you can get bonus points. Oh my goodness. So it is a top-down maze game. It's not really doing the Pac-Man style where you pick up a bunch of dots or collect a bunch of things. Oh my goodness. So the attract mode's still continuing to go, but look, it's going to a whole nother game mode. It went from top-down to Donkey Kong-ish. Remember to jump. Yeah, we always remember to jump. I have no idea who did this game, so whatever developer worked on this, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll just say Century Electronics is the one that took us there. All right, let's put a coin in. I'm a little scared. And go. Press our snake button to read the instructions. All right, let's go. Take out these vultures. I have no idea what I'm going to expect. All right, so top down. Let's go open up one. Got a banana. And it's very easy. Don't need to push any button at all. As soon as you come across the monkey, well, that's how you drop the snake. It holds him down for just a little bit. Uh-oh. Oh, but if you get one of the random ones, the vulture will come out and kill you. That was such a sad sound when he died. It was like, aw, you're playing this game. All right, let's get another one. This time, the ape showed up at the top of the screen. Oh, and they trapped me in. Very difficult. It's interesting, though, because they're having us lay something to drop to lure the enemies away. All right, so that means as soon as you can see, as soon as I get the banana, I have to make my way down to where the monkey is. And don't worry, this music, it's not... What in the world? the power-up, or the little extra bonus point that I was going to pick up, he just got very, very sad, and we couldn't pass him. So many questions. Oh, man. This feels like I'm playing a game that would be a bootleg in Russia, that some Russian guy would tell me, you like Pac-Man, right? Here, we got a game for you, like Pac-Man. You'll have so much fun with Dazzler. I wouldn't say the controls are stilted or anything like that. It just feels like there's something off about this one, or cheap about this one. We play plenty of games on home computers, and at this point, the home computer and micro world has done a great job making arcade games at home. This one feels like it quite easily could be something we could play at home, right? Oh, maybe it is playing over and over again. I hope it's not what we're hearing in the background. All right, let's go again. Against my better judgment. And pushing start. I really want to see the second screen to see how it plays, but we have to clear and get all the bananas to all the monkeys. Let's do it. Oh, he went down to the bottom this time. Oh, it traps me on the side. So the 8-way joystick really isn't doing anything. It's pretty much just a 4-way movement. And it looks like where the monkey and bananas show up, it's all random. It's like the question mark blocks in some of the other games we played. Like, look at that. I got a really lucky roll that time. Oh, but now I'm getting some kind of I got a glitch where it wouldn't let me go to the right, or the controls. The controls are not perfect. I'll just put it that way. We've already lost so many lives. That's better. Oh, now we gotta go all the way to the top. So yeah, it feels like sometimes my controls aren't responding as smoothly as they should. Let's go up here. Come on. Don't. Oh, he just did the... So whenever the power-up turns into a sad face, you can't collect it, and it becomes a barrier. It's almost like, imagine playing Miss Pac-Man, and some of the fruit that's bouncing around makes a sad face, so you can't get any of the fruit. We'll just tie him up. He's having fun wrestling the snake. Let's go this way. I'm trying to see what's up with the artificial intelligence. We did it! Oh, we did it! It's in the next phase. The music has not changed. Oh, it has changed. There we go. Okay, so now they're adding... Everyone gets that public domain song. Dancing around the Mexican hat now. So this again feels so bad. It's functioning as a platform, but it reminds me of some of the bad platformers we played on home computers. This again feels like a bootleg. I'd go to Russia and they'd say, "You like Donkey Kong? We get you Donkey Kong. You play this. Dazzler just like Donkey Kong. You have lots of fun. The kids love it." But it worked. I made it to the top. And the music continues. It does not stop. So if you look at the very top right, it's telling us that we're now in level 2, so it's adding a little bit more difficulty to the game, but notice that it's over. Game's over. I think we go back to the beginning, even if we put a coin in. Yikes. I'm going to go ahead and rub that one out. So first experience with Dazzler is, it just feels cheap. It feels like a cheap arcade game compared to all the other games we played at this point. I got an 8-way joystick, but I can't go up and down to put the score in. This feels like it's a very unpolished, rushed, and it's trying to rip off, you know, Donkey Kong or top-down maze games. Of all the games we've seen up to this point, top-down maze games, there's a lot out there. The arcade maze game, we've played almost 290 of them up to this point, so there's a lot that are across all systems. Finally, let me put my high score in there. But the second game mode, the arcade platformer that they did, this would be the 54th arcade platformer that we played up to this point. In the arcade, though, this is one of the worst arcade platformers. Yeah, man, Lee, if you call it Donkey Kong. And it's very rare to call an arcade game bad. I don't think we've done it very often. Said arcade games around the 2-star range of all the arcade games you could play up to this point. But this one's cutting it close. After... multiple playthroughs. Let's go in one more time. I can see myself finding some kind of enjoyment to it, but it's more of you can tell it's just cheap compared to the other games you could be playing at this point. 2 different screens, though, capitalizing on 2 of the main types of arcade genres is smart. So, but when you play it yourself, you realize that it doesn't have as much going for it as everything else that's out there. It's kind of amazing they did a Donkey Kong variant, and of course we got apes as one of the main themes of the game. Oh, we're getting some lucky rolls here. See right here, look, I'm trying my hardest to go like down and get this box, and it's not working. Oh man, it's very, very clunky. Controls are for sure. So yeah, at least subpar, maybe 2.5 stars. Of all the games you could play in the arcade, that would be generous. I'm looking over the chat and I see some 2.5 stars. No one's really saying 2. No one's down in the 2-star range. You have to play it for yourself too to really get the feel of the 2 different games. We already had a game over, and we can't take over where we left off. So you're essentially going for all those level by levels until you get to a further one. But yikes, it's rough. It's really rough. I'm actually going to concede and say, from what the chat has, I saw 1 3-star over there from Manly, but the majority of them is 2, and James is going down to even 2 stars. I want to showcase every arcade game And I really do want to say this is bad. I want to say it's a 2-star game of all the games you could play across the arcade. We rarely do that. It's the controls, and because it feels cheap that they're ripping off something and they're not doing it as well as other games. If you want to play a better one that we played way earlier in 1982, The Amazing Adventures of Mr. F. Lee combines lots of different elements of arcade games, but it's doing it better than this. This one's yeah, scary. Charlie's even thrown 3 stars out there. I won't be as kind. Dazzler is a 2-star game of all the arcade games you could play right now in November 1982. All right, let's see what our next release is. Wow. Coming up next is on the Atari home computer. Let's check out Deadstick Landing. This one was a type-in game of Softside Magazine of November. It's got a terrible picture of what it was in Softside Magazine. This is the 31st game that we've played from either Softside Publications or Softside Magazine, and this is the 386th game that we're going to be playing on the Atari 400 or Atari 800. That's how many out there. Don't wait for us. We're not typing it in, but let's play some Deadstick Landing. This is by Al Johnston. Way to go, Al. Softside Publications, whenever you typed it in November 1982. This is the second game we've seen by Al Johnston on the show. The other one was Arena of Octos back in 1981. And this is the 84th game that is a type-in game. So use it with a grain of salt. You know, remember you had to type this in. This was free in a magazine. You didn't pay commercially for this. Just remember that. All right, there you go. Atari translation, doing some funky, using the character set graphics. Nice. All right, Deadstick Landing. Let's see how this works. Okay, so what's your skill level? We could be chimp, rookie, pilot, or ace. We're definitely not an ace. I want to go chimp because I just think that's funny that we have a chimp difficulty level. And then we can do re-entry practice, approach practice, or landing practice. This is another flight simulator, the 16th flight simulator that we've seen across all systems. Only 16 that are out there. Let's go for approach practice and see what that's like. All right, Columbia, this is Houston. You're on the traffic pattern for a Deadstick Landing. Since this is a test flight, there's no need for you to do anything. The orbiter will fly by autopilot. Just sit back and enjoy your banana. Oh, because we're on, because we picked chimp difficulty? Maybe we should have picked something else so we can actually fly. So this is what it's like to play Deadstick Landing. I believe the first type-in flight simulator that we played. And bear in mind, we played flight simulators on micros like the ZX81, all black and white, or even a text-only flight simulator. Whoa, really? Oh, that's right. It does look like that. I don't believe it, but I feel like I have no control. I have the Atari VCS joystick plugged in, and I'm... Oh, it's because autopilot's on. No wonder I have no control. Because I'm playing on chimp difficulty. So at this point, when you see this game, this is not how flight simulators look. The still best flight simulator we played up to this point has been A2FS1 Flight Simulator. That's going to be the precursor to the best flight simulator that we'll see later this year. This view is not doing very well. Notice that we have a smaller window in the middle of the screen, but it is not really showing. I think it's redrawing the screen slowly every time. So it is a very, very clunky flight simulator. But it was something that you typed in. And if you checked out Softside Magazine, this was a lot of pages to type in. Yeah, right? I am enjoying my banana while I play, though. But there's a lot to be desired on this one. Not as many features as some of the other flight simulators that we played, but there's not that many out there in general that you could be playing up to this point. I'm really not going to... That's all I'm going to showcase for Deadstick Landing. It is not very good when you consider all the other games you could play across all the home computers up to this point. Lots of competition out there. Since we rate it that way, it's really not too fair because it's a type-in game. It's a flight simulator, and there's not many of those either. So while it is a noble effort, and Al Johnston did a really cool job trying to do this, I still want to say of all the games you could be playing up to this point, this is a 2-star game. And if you want to play something really good for flight simulator games, check out some of the other ones we've seen up to this point. Oh, yeah, that's true. If it's free, do you change the rating? Good point, Charlie. Because this one you didn't have to pay for. Oh, yeah, but the Thorn EMI one, Paul's bringing up in chat, that one's a very, very good one. A really good contender for the A2FS1 flight simulator. All right, here we go. After that, amazing showcase. Let's see what our next release is. But before we do, I have to introduce you. Before we go to our next game, we have a whole new computer that I have to tell you about because it's time to go to Japan. This is the Tomy Tutor, or as they say in Japan, the Pyuta. This is by the Tomy Company. It's a toy company that was established in 1924 by the founder Eiichiro Tomiyama. It was called the Tomiyama Toy Manufacturing Company originally, and Tomy has up to this point done some dedicated consoles that we didn't play on the show, and it's done some handhelds. The handhelds that we've seen here on Chronologically Gaming have been things like Demon Driver, Cosmic Combat, Tennis, Pac-Man, Tron, and Kingman. Of the handhelds that we've seen, this is the first time that we've had any computer or console that Tomy has done, because it's a toy manufacturer that's making a computer. It was manufactured by Matsushita, and it was sold in Japan as the Pyuta. It was marketed as a computer that kids could use. So you look at it and you think it's a baby computer for babies, but there's a little bit more than that. In the UK, this was called the Grandstand Tutor. It's a home computer that's made by Tomy, and it was launched here in 1982, and in the UK as Pyuta, and then Tomy Tutor in the United States next year. So all the games that we're seeing right now are going to be from the Pyuta. And usually on the show, I have been splitting up systems based on region. I'm not going to be doing it for this one. The Tomy Tutor and the Pyuta will both be all on the same system. So even though you'll see the title, it's the Tomy Tutor, it's really not out yet. This has not been released in North America. Only the Pyuta has. If you open it up, the specs inside include a CPU that's a TMS 9995NL running at 2.7 megahertz. The memory is 16K, but you can go up to 64K. I recommend you do that because we're going to need that for some of the other later games. The graphics chips inside is a TMS 9918ANL. The resolution goes for 256 by 192 pixels. It has 16 colors and up to 2 colors out of 8 horizontal dots. 32 monochrome sprites, 8 by 8 pixels, a max of 4 per horizontal line. This has no hardware or scrolling function on this system, so they have to do a little finagling to get some scrolling going. The sound inside is an SN76489AN DCSG, or the Digital Complex Sound Generator. It has 3 channels, 2 for music, 1 for noise, at 8 octaves. This system, we're going to be playing all ROM carts. It does take cassettes, but majority of these are going to be cartridges. And the reason why I say that is because this is architecturally similar, but not identical to the Texas Instruments 99-4A. It uses the same Texas Instruments CPU, and because it was announced as a children's computer, it's practically a cheap, evolved version of the Texas Instruments home computer. So think of that. It was a terrible marketing job. The Pyuta Junior is a console version of this home computer that's going to be released in April 1983, but that will be a console we won't showcase on the show because we'll be playing all the games that would have been for it here on the Tomy Tutor. This was removed very quickly from the market and replaced the following year by the Pyuta Mark II. And that Mark II is familiar to another home console that we're going to see next year called the Sega SG-1000. That's the home console that Sega is going to put out. Really looking forward to that. But this computer looks really close to that. And they switched it out to the mechanical keyboard instead of the chiclet-style keyboard. The new model, or the Mark II model, was sold only in Japan and only for a short period of time. Right now in Japan, there's lots of home computers that this has to compete with, like the Fujitsu FM8, FM7, FM11, the NEC PC 6000 series, 8000 series, 8800 series, 9800 series, the Sharp computers, or Sharp MZ line of computers. And then later there's going to be other ones coming from Sony, Panasonic, Hitachi, Sanyo. And of course there's Apple and Commodore that are here, but they're not really selling as well. Lots of competition already. And let's see what our first game is. So now you ask the question, what in the world is the first game release for this computer? Well, to tell you the truth, I don't know. I have no idea what was the first game that came out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be playing the games that you could play on the Pyuta in Japan. And the first one we're going to check out is Deep 6. Let's check out Deep 6 for the Pyuta, or later the Tomy Tutor. Here's the box for Deep 6. And again, bear in mind, the Tomy Tutor version is not until 1983, but this is also available in Japan, so that we're playing the version in Japan. Here's the box cartridge, and you see it says ages 6 and up. Why are they marketing this? Because we're actually going to see some really good arcade games on this home computer. Very well done ports. Very, very strange. This is known as Marine Adventure, and that's the one we're going to be playing in Japan. If we flip over this box, it gives us more information. Will you find your journey to the bottom of the sea, put on your air tank, and dive down through schools of snapperfish to the level of glow-in-the-dark puffer bellies, fending off spearfish, giant jellyfish, guardfish, all the way to the giant octopus? Can you evade the death grip of his tentacles? I don't think so. Whether you're 6 or 16, there's a lot in store for you for your Tomy Tutor, because even in North America, they marketed this as a baby computer for babies. When it had some pretty good arcade ones. That's right, Deep 6 and up, Marshall. What other artwork do we have for Deep 6? So here it is in Japan, known as Marine Adventure. This is the 7th video game that we've seen by Tomy, and the very first, obviously, for theぴゅう太. This is, everything we saw by Tomy was all handhelds up to this point. And besides that box that we had in Japan, I like the box better in Japan, actually. There's the system itself. The hand controller we're going to be playing on has a digital disc, very similar to the Mattel Intellivision, but the disc is only, I think, 8 directions, not the directions that the Intellivision had, and then 2 buttons at the top. There's the cartridge. We're going to pop in and play. They're including, at least in the North American advertisement, the Tomy Tutor has what looks like notebook paper to make you think that it's an educational title. And I'm sure they had plenty of educational software for it. We're only going to play the good stuff on this one because that's the ones that have been preserved the best. There's an example of the screenshot. Let's see the manual because this will tell us more how to play the game. There, Deep 6. And again, the manual I'm showing you is the North American version that's coming out later because we can read it. How do you play? Make sure your computer's hooked up. Insert the Deep 6 cartridge. Nice. Look at the TV screen to see what happens when your diver shoots a jellyfish. So they're going to give us an attract mode. The object of the game is send your diver to the bottom of the sea. Make him shoot all the small fish so he can descend to a deeper level. Don't let the fish touch the diver. Win extra points. And when you get near the ocean floor, shoot the giant octopuses to stun them so you can grab sunken treasure. Oh, nice. Okay, so over here on this other side, you can do a 1 or 2 player game, but it's alternate play, like hot seat arcade style. And the controllers, I only knew about the hand controller. They had a joystick controller too. That's the one to go for. I didn't know they had a joystick version too. So he explains how the game works. The diver can swim in 8 different directions, but we can only shoot in 4 different directions. We also have an air supply, which means we could drown in this game. And by air supply, I think that just means the timer for the game. And then over here on the play action side, it's going to explain what the first level is. It's got a really bad screenshot, but there's the spearfish, whatever level you're on, and you can't even tell what it is. You move the diver and swim around, and then you shoot all the fish. Snapperfish give you extra points, but if you shoot them all, then you move on to the next level, which is jellyfish. If you make it past the jellyfish level, then you make it... Oh, here we go. Yeah, there's the jellyfish level. They're showing off the giant jellyfish here. And then if you make it to the next one, you go to the bottom of the sea where the octopus are, and you try to get some treasure. So it's an underwater shooting game. And then they break down right here the scores. Reach the treasure, you get 5,000 points. If you want to play again, you can. Arcade games for a non-educational... We're not going to play the educational games. I don't even think we have any educational games for the Tomy Tutor. Let's pop in and play some Deep 6. This is by Tomy for yourぴゅう太at the beginning of November 1982. I don't think so. Hey, no way, I can't believe who's in the chat. What's going on, Kanishka? All the way from Australia, if you're still there. Thanks for tuning in. Yep, we're playing every video game in order of release. And here we go in November 1982 with a very obscureぴゅう太, or the United States version. Here we go. Press any key to begin. Now this one you have to start. Every time you begin this home computer, you switch to the cartridge and you hit enter, and then it boots up the cartridge for you. Let's see if we played anything like this. So it begins kind of like an attract mode in the arcade. And the person already dies. If we do a 2-player game, we're not going to be missing anything because you just hot seat anyway. So I'm going to do pressing 1. Oh, if it'll let me. You got to wait for the... There you go. Press 1. And then you can do amateur or pro. We're pros here, so we're going to go pro. And these are 2 buttons that were on your joystick. We got a little ditty that starts us off. And our goal right now is to shoot all the fish. Controls already feel a little bizarre because I can move in 8 directions, but I can't shoot in 8 directions. I can only shoot in 4. And there's our bonus fish. If I can hit him down at the bottom. There we go. Nice. Whenever I hit the bonus fish, I had this slight delay. Like they were racking up the points for us. No way. Yeah, so it is an underwater shooting adventure. It's like a multi-directional shooter, but instead of being in space, you're underwater. You also have to keep in mind that since you aren't playing as a spaceship like you would be with asteroids, you're firing from where your gun is facing. So in a way, the controls feel a little bit more clunky, like I'm playing Sheriff by Nintendo in the arcades, where you have to line up the... Oh gosh, there's one of the jellyfish follows us. We have homing jellyfish that show up. Okay, we have to get rid of all these on the screen as fast as possible, hopefully before one of the other ones, the homing ones, doesn't show up. All right, so of all the games we've seen up to this point, I'm already feeling some vibes from games we played in the 70s. This is really similar, or makes me feel like I'm playing something like Shark Attack from, or Blue Shark from 1978, or Shark Attack from 1981, where you're needing to navigate yourself underwater. Oh, come on. There we go, got it. So as soon as you get all of them, then you move on to the last stage. If we can make our way down to the bottom to get some treasure. I don't think I can. Can I even shoot the octopus? There is a lot of enemies on the screen. Gosh, yeah, and the octopus are shooting back at us. So it's a multi-screen game. We're going from not level to level, but it's going to continue to repeat itself score attack-wise like an arcade. But wow. Controls are just... I feel like it should be able to be easier or better than this. Because also whenever I move and turn around, it doesn't immediately face me in the direction I'm hoping it does. Because you have the 8-way directions, you can hold a diagonal movement on the hand controller, and it'll continue to aim that way. That's amazing. Oh yeah, Shark. I don't think we've seen that one yet. We also played another one called Marine Date, which was very rare. It's a very weird arcade game, but it was an underwater game like this, had a little bit of shooting elements. One of the newest ones that we played was Calypso in the arcade, and that was done in August 1982. All right, let's go again. Pro level. Another one was Marine Boy that we saw in October 1982. And then, actually, this one would be a great game to compare to a game that we only showcased. We didn't get to play. On the Texas Instruments 99 for a computer, there was a game called Blackbeard's Treasure. And we weren't able to play that one because it was available only on cassette, and I couldn't find the cassette. But when I saw screenshots of it, it looks very similar to what this would have been because this is a comparable computer. Oh, interesting. Okay, now I'm getting used to the controls. Because of the diagonal movement, you have a little bit more freedom, but you have to know how to move. Like, for example, if I move diagonally here, I can hold my shot in one way and just continue to shoot while I'm moving at the same time. So it's different. Especially whenever you're used to playing on the Atari VCS joystick or another joystick, you have to kind of... I have to re-teach myself how to play this way. It's very weird and strange. Look at that. See how I'm able to stay in the same place and continue to shoot that way? So if you did it enough, you get used to it. Wow. And then here we are again. I don't know if we can get... we get touched by someone else, so it's not going to work. In a world where we played so many different space sci-fi shooters, it's very refreshing to play a shooter that's taking place underwater. It's a difficult one to rate because we don't have too many games on the home computer that are comparable. Gameplay-wise, we do because you take all those space shooters and it's easy. So I would say this one is really, really cool for the very first game we had ever seen for the Tomy Tutor or theぴゅう太. So of all the games you could play across all home computers all over the world right now, this one's still fairly average. The 3 screens is interesting, but the control scheme is a little bit interesting and strange. Looking over in the chat, I already see James throwing out a 3.5 to 4 star. I won't be as kind. It's different, and it could have been done better. Instead of having an 8-way movement with 4 directions to control, Even though this is, I'm going to say, average 3 stars of all the games across all home computers right now in November 1982, it's not really average as far as the content, the theme and being underwater shooting. But I'll still say 3 stars of everything you can play up to this point, gameplay-wise. Yeah, looking over the chat, I see mostly 3 stars from Charlie and Psychosis Media too. So there you go, the very first game that we're playing on theぴゅう太, or Tomy Tutor. Everything that we check out for this computer is going to be either on the Tomy Tutor, theぴゅう太, orぴゅう太Mark II. It's all going to be right here on this system, just because of how rare it is. All right, it's time to put the video game playing on pause. That's all the time we have for this episode, but we're going to keep playing our quest all through every system, console that you can think of, every video game in order of release. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, a new game for the Commodore VIC-20, a new magazine trying to rival electronic games. And have you ever seen a dragonfly? That's it for today, and like I always say, fun has always been there. Adding more memory and graphics is just the icing on the cake. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.